But one thing that's very obvious is there are some people that are good content producers that are just good at content. And there's some people that are a little bit more on the business side of things that could kind of understand the systems behind things, hiring people, creating offers, and creating business opportunities. That's what it takes to be successful, to be consistent. Even when you don't feel like it, you still keep at it. A lot of people think like their content has to be about whatever type of lawyer they are. Huge one. And I see this all the time with personal injury lawyers.
If the content is good, it works. So the most important thing to do is to come up with the content. Then, while you've got the time and effort, put in the technical aspects of it. And then once you start doing that, you'll find you get better at, better at posting stuff, better at editing stuff.
Welcome to my legal academy, helping lawyers work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life.
People that join our program, we share a lot of mindset shifts with them, because it really starts off with the law firm owner and their belief system. First, we tap into that. Then we create the potential in what is possible. Then we get into the how-tos and the who's and everything else. And one of the overarching principles is that done is better than perfect mentality. And I kind of try to instill this as much as possible from the beginning of the program all the way through. So much so that a lot of people that kind of get through the program after a year, like the thing that really stands out is that kind of mentality. And that's what really got me over this hurdle of being stuck or stagnant at, in my career. But now when I instill this idea, then I was able to grow. This, I definitely can see it in you. How much does that play into your kind of mentality and your success and growth?
Well, one of the things that I try to explain to people, and I talk to a lot of people about YouTube because I get asked all the time. And I say, there's several different angles of YouTube that you need to understand to make videos. And it's also true of a lot of stuff you do in life. But let me give you an example. Is I put a video up on YouTube and you watch the video, right? There's the technical aspects of that video. What type of camera was it shot with? How well was it lit? How good's the microphone? I noticed, for instance, you're using a Shure SM7 microphone, beautiful microphone, not as good as my RE20, but that's okay. Right now, I'm simply using a little, Logitech thing because the way we're doing this. But there's the technical aspects of it. But ask yourself how many times you watched a video on YouTube that was shot poorly, but you were glued to it because it was good content. There's a cat on the back of the couch and it falls asleep and it falls off. It makes a weird noise. And somebody filmed it with a handheld phone sideways. But you watched it because the content was good. You're not going to go, oh, I won't watch that because it's out of focus. No. And so the content is actually, in my mind, more important than the technical aspect of it. I know so many people who say, Steve, I'd like to start making videos, but I don't have $3,000 for equipment. I don't have a studio. I know guys who've got successful channels who hold a camera like this and talk for 7 minutes and post it on YouTube. If the content is good, it works. So the most important thing to do is to come up with the content. Then, while you've got the time and effort, put in the technical aspects of it. And then once you start doing that, you'll find you get better at, better at posting stuff, better at editing stuff, come up with better ideas, and then you improve it along the way. But you are not going to put up the first video and have it be a home run and have it be perfect on the first take. That's not going to happen. And if you hold yourself to that standard, you're hurting yourself.
Amazing. How many videos per week do you try to post?
I post 2 a day, day in and day out, and I haven't missed a day in about 5 years. I record 2 a day. I get up in the morning, I clear my email, I take a shower, I go shoot 2 videos. It's the first thing I do in the morning. So literally 2 videos every morning. And then the only thing that happens is sometimes if a video does really, really well, I will leave it up by itself and push the other videos back. But I haven't missed a day in probably 4 or 5 years.
Amazing. First of all,
thank you.
That's what it takes to be successful, to be consistent. Even when you don't feel like it, you still keep at it.
Yes.
How do you prepare for your videos? You actually said that is kind of get to in the morning is, I think, your secret sauce before the rest of the day takes over and becomes chaotic.
I just know that personally, I'm a morning person. I'm one of these guys where I'm 5 times more functional before 10 in the morning. By the middle of the afternoon, my productivity just drops way off mentally. So I will print the stories out that I want to talk about, make my notes on it, whatever I'm going to do, go over, turn the studio on. But when I walk into the studio, I'm walking out like 15 minutes later. I mean, it's per video. So half hour later, if it's 2 videos. And I got the system down to where I walk in, turn the lights on, turn the camera on, change my shirt, shoot a video, change my shirt again, shoot a video, and I'm walking out. So it's, it's down to a bit of a system, but that helps. That's one of the ways you can be more productive is by having a system like that.
Amazing. You mentioned that you get some of your story ideas from your audience, but if you had to come up with original story ideas, what's your source?
Just the news. I'm one of these guys. I read a lot of news sources and news sites. I don't watch a lot of news on television. I don't like the way television news picks which 8 stories you're going to cover tonight. They do 3 minutes per story or whatever. In fact, less than that. So there's a lot of different news sites, and I try to see as many different sites as I can. So I watch everything from CNN to the New York Times to the New York Post. And the Post and the Times are like this in the spectrum, but eventually you'll find the stories. But the funny thing is a lot of the stories that do well on my channel aren't big national stories, but they are stories that made the news because they're so strange or unusual.
So different news sources, but nothing in particular. Do you use Reddit?
I don't. And one of the reasons I don't is that Reddit is a mixture of stuff. And quite often people will send me links. Say, Steve, I found this great story on Reddit. And they'll send me a link and somebody posted a story. And I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. How would I know? And some guy just says something happened. And so I've seen those stories get picked up by the mainstream news, like the Daily Mail will often say, a Redditor had the craziest thing happen at a wedding. And they'll tell some story and you're like, you assume it's true. How would you know it's true? So if it can't be verified by some other source, I'm very skeptical of it. And I've had a few people send me stories that I'd like to do, and I look at it and go, I don't know if it's true or not. How would I know?
Do you have call to action in your videos telling people to subscribe or do anything?
No, I don't believe in those. I I worked in radio, and I learned a few habits in radio and a few prejudices. And I hate commercials, because in radio, commercials broke up the music. And I also hated like contests and things where you were telling the listeners to call in, because most listeners don't call in. And so it bothers me when I turn on a video and the guy goes, hey, we're going to get to a video in a second, but first, I'd like you to subscribe, tell your friends about this, hit the like button, hit the bell button, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, dude, start talking. Okay, I understand that. And so I would challenge anyone. You can go through all 2,000 of my videos. You'll never see me once say subscribe or hit the like button. I don't do it because people know to do that. I don't have to tell them to do that. And so I think that that's wasted time. I can put it at the end of the video, but at that point, the video is getting too long. I need to shut up.
Amazing. Do you feel like at that point, people already know what to do?
I think they do. I think, yeah. And it sounds too mercenary to me. It sounds like you're begging, like, come on, subscribe.
Got it. A lot of lawyers focus on how-to videos because they feel like you're problem solving. So let me tell people exactly how to do this part of the estate planning and this, and people will come and find you. How much do you think that plays into how-to versus storytelling?
Both. People love war stories. I've got war stories about where, something happened in court. I saw this happen. People love those stories. But it's more useful if people can learn something from a story. But I can tell you right now that, like, for instance, as an attorney, when I tell people I'm a lemon law attorney, I handle car cases. The first question people ask me almost invariably is about a used car, which would not qualify under most state lemon laws. They go, oh, I bought this one used car one time and I got ripped off. And so I've discovered that almost everyone out there either has been themselves or they know somebody who has been ripped off buying a used car from either a dealership or a person. And right there, that's like 4 videos, because I need to explain to you what as is means. I need to explain to you what as is means at a car dealership. I need to explain to you what you need to do to keep yourself from getting ripped off by a car dealership. And so I do have those how-to things built into my videos. And I got an email earlier today from a guy who just bought a car at an auction in Michigan, of all places. He got ripped off, and because of something I tipped him off to in a video a while back, he went back and he actually got them to unwind a deal. As an attorney, I would have told you that's probably impossible. But the guy said, because of the confidence I had in what you told me, he showed me the email he wrote. He sent it and he showed me the email he got back, and the guy's like, give you your money back. And it's like, whoa, so it does work. And it's I used to tell people that I'm a consumer protection attorney generally, and we're all consumers. And so if I can teach you how to spend your money wisely, hopefully you won't get ripped off. And it's kind of like a surgeon in an emergency room. Instead of saying, I'm going to sew you up when they bring you in, don't get shot. That's more important if you can avoid getting shot. Okay. So that's my goal as a consumer protection attorney, is the information to give people. And if they do stuff with it, that's great. And some of it is stuff that they can use while shopping. So I've had people tell me they've been shopping for a car and the salesman says something to them and they know what to say back to him because of what they learned from my videos.
How important is niching down to the topics? You mentioned that, yeah, you are a consumer protection attorney and you try to, bring in events or newsworthy events related to car kind of issues, things like that.
Right.
Is that the way to go, or should you make a YouTube channel for being a lemon lawyer?
Well, I don't think it hurts to wander off topic a little bit, because I've had people tell me, they go, well, Steve, what do you know about the Constitution? You're a lemon law lawyer. Well, I did pass the bar. I did take con law. I try to remind people that even though I have this narrow niche and I'm a specialist in something, I still know all this other stuff about the law. And so my channel is aimed at doing several things, and that is to entertain people as well as educate people. So I can't talk about lemon law every single video because I do 2 videos a day. That would get real boring real fast. But I go back on it once in a while and I talk about it when I can. And I think that people understand that, yeah, his specialty is this, but occasionally he wanders a bit wider, but it's still entertaining.
Totally. And that's a big misconception. A lot of people think like their content has to be about whatever type of lawyer they are. Huge one. And I see this all the time with personal injury lawyers. Like every content is about if you this is how you deal with insurance. I'm like, okay, how many times do I want to hear about this particular how to deal with insurance kind of topics? Right. I kind of realized this early on too at a newsletter. Started off with business law, then transitioned over to LLCs, then stuff with entrepreneurs. Then one time I sent out an email about, here's one thing that I learned this week about life. And then as soon as I sent it out, I got like 10 times more replies. And I'm like, wait a minute, people don't necessarily want to hear about the business and LLCs. They'd rather get life advice and, the positive side of whatever it is. So yeah, totally. Don't box yourself in, essentially.
Right.
Does the length of videos matter?
It does. And YouTube actually does play a huge role in this, because YouTube puts advertising on videos. Okay. And so for advertisers' sake, they won't put ads on really short videos, and really long videos. It's hard to say, but I tend to shoot videos between 8 and 12 minutes long. Now I'll go over 12. I don't care, but I think beyond 12, I'm pressing the limits of what people are willing to put up with me. But below 8 minutes, it's so short that YouTube might say, why put an ad on a 6-minute video because people aren't going to watch it or whatever. And so I don't know that those are hard and fast, but I do know that seems to be the sweet spot for me. I did a video about a month ago. It was like 45 minutes long, but I, at the beginning, said, by the way, this is going to be a long video. And a surprisingly large number of people actually stuck through it because the topic was good. But generally speaking, you'll notice 18, 17, 16, 9, 28, 13. The 28 one is a long one, but that was a popular video, and I knew it would be.
Is there any difference between 8 and 10?
I don't know. I look at some of the metrics that YouTube gives up. And one of the fascinating things as a creator is YouTube and Google are just huge data aggregators. They gather data on everything. So I can pull up a video, any one of these videos here, I can pull up on my screen, and it'll show me how many people watched it for how long. And you can see where the viewership drops off, and you can go look at that exact point and see what it is that you said that made everyone leave. And it's almost one of those things, I hate to do it because it almost like it hurts me. I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But it's also, it's surprising, because I have some videos where the average, like the video is like 18 minutes long, and the average person watches for 10 minutes. Well, some people click and go away immediately. So to compensate for that, I need somebody who watches the whole thing. And I've talked to other creators who say that some of the numbers I've got are rather high, but I think that's because people who start the video and like what I'm saying will stick it out to the end,
Amazing. I had a goal since a year ago to become the #1 YouTube channel for lawyers. I put it out there as soon as I started it. I've been kind of sharing it out there. Ever since then, I've posted 1 video per day since then. If you're in my shoes, what advice would you give me that I could start doing where it could make a big impact for my channel?
I would try to see if you can get some cross promotion going on some other channels or even places outside of YouTube that might be willing to share a link. And the reason I say that is I used to write for Jalopnik, which was an internet website about cars on the Gawker platform. And I've written for a couple other websites, and they would let me put at the bottom, Steve Lehto is an attorney in Michigan who has a YouTube site. And when people would read that, they go, oh, and they would go over and watch my video. And I know other people who built their audiences up that way. Likewise, I've done some guest spots on other people's shows. Like I've been on VinWiki, Ed Bolian's channel. He's got over 1 million subscribers, and he let me come on and tell some stories. And then, you know, when people would see me on his channel, they'd come over and subscribe to my channel. And the first, and I, by the way, there's a guy whose screen name is Sam Crack. He's a genius. He buys wrecked cars at auctions and restores them. So he'll get like an Aston Martin for like $10,000 and restore it, but it's like flood damaged or whatever. And he shoots videos of himself restoring these cars. And I did a video where I mentioned a story that he was in that was in the news. And it's complicated, but he contacted me and said, hey, Steve, I understand that you did a video about this car I just restored. Do you want to come on my channel and talk about it? Well, he's at the time had like 20 times the subscribers I said, sure. So we did a guest thing together. And if you saw the graphic again, where it shows my subscribers, the day I was on his channel went whoop like this. And it was huge. And I think he almost doubled the size of my channel. I mean, it was crazy. And I was on his channel a couple more times after. We're friends now. But it was one of those things where that and Ed Bolian, those two guys really helped me out a lot. But that's within the YouTube, you know, biosphere. If you can find places outside, like I know that before I was on YouTube, I used to volunteer to write columns for people. And so I would see somebody in a newspaper article somewhere talking about something, and I'd write to the reporter, email them and say, hey, look, I'm an attorney, I specialize in that, and either I can talk to you about it or I can write something for you. And you'd be surprised how much people want free content. And so if you could find somebody who is interested in some field that you practice law in, if you offered that to them and said, all I want is the plug at the end to push people to my YouTube site, they're happy to do that for you.
Does that mean I could ask you?
Well, right now on your channel.
You don't get what you don't ask for.
I know.
I'm joking. But I won't put you on that pressure.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you're a lawyer and you're looking to work smart, scale fast, and enjoy life, right below this video, you'll find a link to book a call to speak to my team so we can tell you how we've been able to help over 500 law firm owners scale their law firm. Now back to the video.
Amazing. For people that are lawyers that have been on the fence, or they know they already believe into YouTube, but they haven't got to it, could you give them one words of wisdom for them to kind of get off their butt to finally start making YouTube videos?
I think a lot of lawyers, unfortunately, just hope that they can sit back in their office and business will come to them. And number one, it won't, okay? Not unless you spend 35 years specializing in something, and then they might, but trust me, I'm still working at it. I've been doing this for 32. But the other thing about it is that other people are doing it, even if you're not. So in other words, if you simply do nothing, you're falling behind because other people are doing something. So don't be that old school guy who goes, oh, I don't do YouTube, I don't do Twitter, I don't do these kinds of things because, you know, that's that newfangled stuff. I joke about, you know, the kids doing their TikTok these days, right? But in reality, I spend so much time thinking about and working on YouTube that it's a vital part of my practice. And I think that no matter what field of law you're in, if you can speak decently on camera and express yourself decently, you should be able to shoot some videos and put them up and just let people see you. As I've had people tell me that they called me after they saw a video of mine on YouTube. And they go, oh, you look like a nice guy. I wanted to give you a call and talk to you about this case I've got. And in the old days, what do? Open up the phone book? Remember those? You know, so.
Amazing. The one thing I'm going to add too is I feel like marketing is multifaceted and everybody has their strengths and weaknesses. Some people that are charming. Some people are good writers. Some people are team players, whatever. There's so many different combinations, and it doesn't, just because something necessarily works for somebody in however shape or form doesn't mean necessarily then you have to, because I feel like a lot of people also feel that pressure They hear TikTok is where it's at. Now all of a sudden, before they know it, they're like forcing themselves to make some TikTok videos. Then they hear about the YouTube story, and then they hear about this story, and then they try to kind of fill the mold. But in reality, it comes down to like playing to your strengths, and then potentially partnering up with people that are complementary to you. But one thing that's very obvious is there are some people that are good content producers. They're just good at content, and there's some people that are a little bit more on the business side of things that could kind of understand the systems behind things, hiring people, creating offers, and creating business opportunities based on like content. And I feel like people are either one or the other. I guess it works the two sides of the brain. And I just want to give a call to action to people that are, again, kind of figure out what you're strong at is the first part. And the second thing is kind of play to your strength. And third part is partner up with people that could complement you in those things. And when you combine that, that's when you really get really strong growth. Like for me, and I'm just giving an example, I'm on the back end of things. And I kind of see the big picture and I see opportunities, and I could kind of multifaceted. I get involved with marketing, sales, operations, hiring, and everything. But I always need salespeople. I always need a COO to implement things. And I always try to partner up with those types of people. Steve, I see the same thing for you. You're so smart and you're so amazing at understanding, being a charming person who understands people and psychology. So you resonate with people and people could resonate with you. But potentially if you partner up with somebody who can turn this value of audience and relationship with somebody who can create a stronger offer, stronger value on the back end, that's where it's at.
Well, and let me explain something else that I think is important for people to realize. There was a time 20 years ago when having a web page was considered newfangled. Okay. Now I've had my website, lehtoslaw.com, for 25 years now, but that's forever in internet age. And I find websites right now for other attorneys where they have a banner that's just like a photograph of the Supreme Court, and it says the such and such law firm, and then it says like who we are, and there's no pictures of people on it. It doesn't say what they do other than they claim to do everything. And I look at it and go, this is the same tombstone website I see for every other law firm out there. And so, number one, the idea that you don't want to get involved in social media like YouTube because it's too newfangled, trust me, Grandpa, it's the same thought process that went into you getting a website a couple of years ago. But number two, that is the problem, is that so many people who are marketing themselves don't think it through properly, and they go, well, I'd like to do this, I'd like to do that, and they rattle off like 5 or 6 things they'd like to do. And anytime I see a website where someone claims that they do criminal law, civil lawsuits, divorce, and wills, I think, okay, they're not good at any one of them. They're not. And I also know attorneys who will list what they're good at and what they wish they were good at, meaning that I like to do traffic tickets, but I also do personal injury. 2 totally different things. Now, you make money off personal injury, but let's face it, there's people out there who specialize in that. And so pick what you're good at. Don't shortchange yourself, but it's better to pick one thing that you are good at and focus on that. And if you pick up stuff on the side, that's great. But the second you say, I can do this, 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 and this, oh, by the way, it's like going into a restaurant that sells Chinese food, American food, and Italian food. Guess which one of those they do well? You know what I'm saying? None of it. None of it. And so you're better off from a marketing perspective, picking the thing that you're good at, focusing on it, and stressing that in everything you do, whether it's your website, your social media, or just talking to people.
Amazing. Amazing. And Steve is one of those people who found out about his strengths, is able to double down on that. Appreciate you, Steve.
Thank you very much.
I know it's just the beginning of this. I know it's a lifelong thing for you because you enjoy it, you're good at it, and it's amazing that you're capitalizing on it. And I'm going to empower you to keep at it and see you at 1 million subscribers and beyond that. Thank you so much for taking the time to do that. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.